It seems like the end of an era. For the last 2 decades, the NBA has gotten so used to seeing them compete in the finals, it almost seems surreal that the second round of the 2024 NBA playoffs would see neither of them. Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is Swish Culture. While Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Lebron James' legacies are pretty much solidified in NBA history, their teams are scrambling to figure out how to move forward with 3 of the greatest players of all time on their roster, and in some cases, it might involve moving on. Today's video will discuss what these players have brought to the NBA, what we can expect from them going forward, and what their respective franchises are considering in light of these players being unable to lead their team to at least a conference finals appearance. So before we get started, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Swish Culture for the most analytical and entertaining NBA content on the planet. Now get ready. You're about to get Swish. With rumors swirling about LeBron James' future, one of the biggest questions for one of the league's biggest names is whether or not he will stay with the Lakers. One of the latest rumors states that he is largely expected to decline his player option, paving the way for him to play with his son Bronny James at whichever team drafts him. It's safe to say he likely values this more so than winning a championship. Coincidentally, yet another rumor has the Lakers drafting Bronny James, quote, to help fulfill LeBron's dream of playing with his son, end quote. Now, of course, this was leaked because the Lakers are going to do everything they can to try to keep LeBron James. Without LeBron, they're likely to lose AD next season and will have to undergo a complete rebuild. Now let's talk about that for a little bit. But first things first. Do they even have the ability to draft Bronny James? The short answer is yes. The long answer exposes the nuances to this very awkward situation. It was only a year ago that Bronny was ranked as a top 20 player on ESPN. At first, it seemed like Bronny James was well on his way to becoming an NBA player. Unfortunately, what happened next would see just the opposite. It then seemed like Bronny's basketball career would be cut short after his cardiac arrest back in summer of 2023, just before USC ramped up practice. After missing the start of the season, however, all that changed. He was cleared by health professionals, and after some deliberation with the family, Bronny came back. He barely played any starting minutes and was underwhelming with only 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists while shooting just 37% from the field for the season. Any college player not named the son of LeBron James would be looking to improve his second year, getting into the team's permanent starting lineup, anything that might help him do better against college competition to be considered a serious NBA level candidate. This is a shared perspective across the majority of NBA media. Instead, however, the young James, after entering the transfer portal and blaming USC for not utilizing him correctly, has thrown his hat into the ring and declared for the 2024 NBA draft. While LeBron claims to be weighing his options, the fact that he has a player option this year points to one thing and one thing only. He wants to play with Bronny. The Lakers know this, which is why they plan on drafting Bronny, who's not even ranked among potential draft picks this season. Not to say ESPN rankings haven't been wrong, especially considering how Austin Reeves panned out, but it does show the level of risk involved. On top of that, the Lakers have the 55th overall draft pick. Hoping Bronny falls that far when a potential LeBron is on the line is wishful thinking, especially considering there are a number of teams other than LA listed as being possible destinations. Some articles list the Thunder and Cavs, even the Miami Heat. I don't see him getting on the Thunder roster, but the Cavs could make an attempt considering the unknown status of Donovan Mitchell going into the offseason. Bron left a sour taste in Pat Riley's mouth, so it's unclear whether or not he could end up in Miami. Besides, Bron and Jimmy don't seem to make pretty good bedmates. LeBron's best option would be to join forces with another team that is competing for a championship, but just so happen to lose in the finals. Maybe a team like Denver, who could see themselves usurped this season as the reigning champions.
Bruh.
What? KD did it. One team that hasn't shied away is Golden State. The Warriors have made public their desire to get the Elder James. The Elder James, and have a 52nd overall draft pick that they received when they sent Corey Joseph to the Indiana Pacers. It's crazy to think that the Warriors could potentially turn a player like Corey Joseph, who's no longer in the league, into LeBron James. Warriors general manager Mike Dunleavy Jr. would be considered legendary if he pulled that off. But all that could be a smokescreen. What if that's not what the Warriors want? Spinning back to KD, the Phoenix Suns went from almost legendary winners, essentially forming a super team, to legendary losers in 3 years. From competing against the Bucks in the 2021 NBA Finals with a ragtag bunch of nobodies, to getting swept in the first round by a newcomer in Anthony Edwards. Despite having 3 superstars on their roster, it's safe to say that they've missed their window. So what now? It's clear this team led by Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker are not a championship level team. The ball dominance and offensive focused new look Suns just don't compete at the same level as their faux Warriors motion offense they ran back when they had Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. Since they got worse this season than last, the sensible thing would be to move on from their recent acquisition in Bradley Beal and get a talented young point guard to support KD and Booker and give it a shot next season. Only this won't be possible due to the no-trade clause in Beal's contract. Since Booker has been with the franchise since he was drafted, it's infeasible that they get rid of him, which leaves the Suns with only one other alternative. Trade Kevin Durant and get everything they can for him in order to maximize what they have in Beal and Booker. Now this still won't help the Suns much, considering what they need is a true point guard to free up Devin Booker. The problem is there is still too much overlap between Beal and Booker, so they're paying 2 superstar contracts but are not getting 2 superstar performers because they'll effectively take away from each other. It'll still be an improved roster, however, if they can get a better fit in a trade for KD. This is where the Warriors come in. Despite posting this on X, stating that offense wins championships, there's no path to a championship for KD in Phoenix. After losing, he then came out and said that he was uncomfortable with his role on the team, essentially saying he was put in a corner on offense. I'm not so sure about that. For a true hooper like KD, however, a future where he's playing at the highest level for at least the next 2 years with the possibility of winning more championships might be the best way for him to ride out the rest of his career. But while that sounds great considering their past success, it's not so simple. For one, KD going back to Golden State would prove the media and everyone who doubted KD right. On the one hand, he'll be hearing that he can't win a championship without Steph Curry for the rest of his life, and on the other hand, he'll be admitting he was wrong to leave Golden State in the first place. So what matters at this point is whether or not Durant will allow himself to be controlled by the media and outside noise, or will he be interested in seeing if he could recover the glory that he had at Golden State. Based on past experiences, I think we'll be going with the former. I think it's a bit too late for the Warriors to benefit from trading for KD. While they won championships in prior years, what the Warriors would have to give up to acquire KD will likely set the team up for failure for a number of years to come if they don't win a championship, which I don't think they will. If you watch the team play with and without Kevin Durant, you would notice that it's a completely different ball game when KD is on the floor. And while the overwhelming talent helped them to win, the margin of error at this juncture in their careers is too slim. The best bet for KD would be to go to the Miami Heat if they would have him and run with Jimmy and Bam. The league is now being dominated by younger guards with size and big men with skill. Unfortunately, it requires a sort of hunger to win that, and I don't think you'll be able to get that from Kevin Durant when he's 36 years old. In order to truly win, the Warriors' best bet is to surround Steph Curry with the young talent on the roster. Pods, Moody, Kuminga, and TJD. There's too much inconsistency with Draymond, something which interrupts team chemistry. Since he's still on the team, there's no way to trade for Jordan Poole, but they could possibly get James Wiseman back from the Pistons and put what he's learned to good use. Bring Clay, Dre, GP2, and Quinones off the bench, but at least with the young guys, they won't have to worry about whether or not you're going to have to change your entire offense because one guy can't stay on the floor. Another thing you'll have is a guarantee that those guys will give you 110% every single night. And based on the numbers from last season, the Warriors did much better with them on the floor. Or we could go rogue and the Warriors could trade everybody and put KD and Braun next to Steph Curry to usher in the end of an era. What do you guys think about those three players together? Is that a championship team today? Or would that be the end of your fandom of any of the named players? Post your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all your notifications so you don't miss any of my latest uploads. Thanks for watching. Till next time. Swoosh!